tracks, stats, and facts. www.enterthedome.com.
Good people, what's going on? Tony the Dome here with episode 29. It's been a minute, people. It's been several months since I recorded. Just different things going on, but glad to be back. I have several other recordings ready to go. I want this segment of the Dome podcast to really move, as far as being more active, man, because of course I'm active on Twitter. A lot of people rock with me. Some, don't, and that's cool too. But I want to try to get the Dome podcast back going consistent like it was at one point last year when I first started it. Anyway, good to be back. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoy the content today, subscribe. If you go back and check out some of the other 28 episodes that's already up on the YouTube page, and that I also have on my Twitter page, then rock with me, subscribe, tell a friend. Like I said, if you enjoy it, man. So anyway, we enjoy music overall. So the Dome podcast is not just hip hop. You will see, one I already recorded last year was Anita Baker and Sade, kind of like a mock versus, because Anita Baker and Sade my favorite female singer. So that's what that is. And of course, we're going to do more R&B, jazz, Motown, just other topics and genres coming. But today, since I've seen several people talking about the greatest MCs of all time in each era, greatest MCs of all time in each region, and then recently there was like the 50 greatest MCs in New York. So I decided, well, let's talk about maybe the 25 greatest MCs in New York, just from my perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because there's never going to be a consensus. I've always said that it's like Magic against Bird. It's like Jordan, LeBron. It's like Biggie and Pac, or Nas and JayZ, whoever. There's never going to be a consensus. Different eras people feel more than others, because a lot of times it's about when you grew up to a certain artist or certain albums and stuff like that. So there'll never be a consensus. But what I try to do is cover the first wave of great MCs all the way up to now. 25 was tough. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be left off. A lot of people, you're going to say, man, Tony, what, dude, so-and-so is better than this person. I understand that. But we got to go through who the best in certain eras, and you have to give them their props. It can't just be the era you grew up in. You know what I'm saying? And few disclaimers also. Yes, Tupac was born in Harlem, but he's not a New York MC. Okay? Yeah, he spent time in New York, but he was a kid. He went on to the West Coast, then down to Baltimore, et cetera, et cetera. We're not including Tupac. Okay? Guru. We love Guru. Guru is from like Boston, I believe. You know what I'm saying? So we're not adding Guru and Gangstar. Okay, no disrespect. Rest in peace to Guru. He's an amazing MC, but he's not a New York MC, even though he lived in Brooklyn, spent a lot of his hip hop career in New York, but he's not from there, so I'm excluding him. Slick Rick. Yeah, Slick Rick, one of the God MCs, but Slick Rick is not from New York. Okay, he's not. So we're not counting Slick Rick either. Now that we got those out the way, excuse me. Let's just kind of dive into it, man. Let's get into it. At 25, I have Grandmaster Cash. Okay. Cash is a great MC. And Cash is part of the three lyrical MCs of the early 80s, late 70s. And the other two are also on this list. Now, understand something. If you go back and listen to Grandmaster Cash, and also he's part of the reason why a lot of those 80s, 86 to like 90 guys, their style and influence, he's part of that influence. If you go listen to what he rapped back then, for his time period, he was a god on the mic. So if I'm doing a 25 greatest MCs from New York, Grandmaster Cash must be on there, from the Cold Crush Brothers. This, for me, is not even a debate. Matter of fact, on a documentary several years ago, he was rhyming. He still rhymes. If you listen to his rhyme now, in 2023, he still can rap. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Grandmaster Cash at number 25. 24, The other from the trio of lyrical kings from the early era of hip hop, Melly Mel. Now, look, Melly Mel has caught some slack over the last few weeks. One of my tweets, I said, man, Melly Mel is over 60. He sounds like he's stuck in like 82. Please just back off Mel from this. Now, look, it kind of came as a diss, but I really respect Melly Mel. I've also said on more than one occasion that The Message is the greatest rap song ever. And his verse is one of the greatest verses ever that was from 1982. You know what I'm saying? Melly Mel influenced Rakim, Karis, all these guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I hated to hear him going at Eminem and all of this stuff like that. And yes, he did sound dated, but that was his flow from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? But some people took that as disrespect, and no disrespect to Melly Mel. You know what I'm saying? Absolute legend. A great MC. There's video of him rhyming back in the day, man, and he was one of the guys. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the master MCs. You know what I'm saying? So at 24, I have Melly Mel. No disrespect, love Melly Mel. I just hated this whole thing, this fiasco with Eminem. Number 23, who I've always say is the greatest female MC of all time, MC Lyte. MC Lyte, Brooklyn, dope voice, dope storytelling, man, dope subject matter, always representing hip hop, to the core. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I say greatest of all time, obviously I do believe that Lauryn Hill is the most gifted female MC of all time and one of the most gifted MCs ever in her prime, doing the score and leading up to Miseducation, even on Blend on Reality, whatever. She had the chance to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. Dope, everything, but not enough material. MC Lyte has the material, has the work, and to me, she always sounded dope on the mic. That's one of the things of being a great MC. I saw her live before. She sounded dope live the same way she does on record. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, 23, MC Lyte, my favorite female MC, and who I believe if I was doing a list of the top 10 greatest female MCs of all time, which I think I've done that before, she was number one. All right, number 22, Chuck D. What can I say? You know what I'm saying? Chuck D, I wrote an article about Chuck D years ago, called him the grown man of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because Chuck D always appeared more mature than everyone else. Chuck D challenged the establishment. Public Enemy, obviously, Yo Bun was the show leading up to It Takes a Nation of Men, which I think is the greatest rap album of all time. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. When I think Rolling Stones, take it with a grain of salt, when they did like the 500 greatest albums of all time, I want to say It Takes a Nation was the highest ranking rap album. But nevertheless, it's a 5-star album. Chuck D is the head of Public Enemy. He's the MC of Public Enemy, and powerful voice, powerful message. I don't have to waste too much time on that. I can't do a 25 greatest New York rappers. And I say New York, I'm talking about the state. I know I've seen debates in the last few weeks. If you live in, Buffalo, if you live in Syracuse, you live this place. I'm talking about New York as a whole state, not just Manhattan, not just the boroughs. I'm just saying New York rap. You know what I'm saying? So Chuck D, no question. Number 22, you can have him higher than that if you want to. 21, Q-Tip, Tribe Called Quest. Now, most people know Q-Tip as, a great producer, things of that nature. But as an MC, I always felt he was very underrated. I feel like he has a smooth flow, smooth voice, underrated lyrics, you know what I'm saying? An underrated performer. Q-Tip is a great MC, a great ambassador for hip-hop. Yes, Tribe Called Quest is my favorite group, but Q-Tip is an amazing MC. And a lot of people after him, he influenced a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? The list is long, not just with his production, but Q-Tip influenced people with his rhymes as well. You know what I'm saying? Q-Tip also one of the few. You can look at him in the Big Daddy Kane, LL, and some of those guys, because when Q-Tip did Bonita, he catered to the women, and a lot of women was digging Q-Tip during that time. So even into his solo with Vibrant Thing and Breathing Stop and everything, he still catered to women. Even they got till it's gone with Janet Jackson, you know what I'm saying? But then he would still do the electric relaxations and check the rhymes and all that. So he has a big bag he pulling from, man. Q-Tip is a great MC, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm going at number 21. Number 20, Big L. Now, Big L was an amazing MC. Wordplay, not too far from anyone who's ever rapped. Big L was obviously a descendant of Lord Finesse. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Lord Finesse and Cool G Rap. If you blended Lord Finesse and Cool G Rap, you got Big L. You know what I'm saying? There's video, of audio rather of Nas saying, man, whew, he was one of the ones that scared Nas. You know what I'm saying? And what Nas was doing was giving him the respect because talent-wise, Big L was right there with Nas, JayZ. Well, he was at one point he was better than JayZ. Doing Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous, Big L was a better rapper than JayZ. If you listen to JayZ feature on the album, he's better. If you listen to the freestyle at the radio station, Big L was better than JayZ. In 1995, he was better. And JayZ's ascension in 1996 to Reasonable Doubt, Reasonable Doubt is better than Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous, but you can say the rapping was on par then, like JayZ had elevated and studied people like G-Rap and Cash, of course, like I spoke on earlier, and Big L and several other guys, Nas, Big, and all of them, and he kind of balanced the tip the scale a little bit. But Big L was as good as anyone ever rapped. He is, to me, probably the king of Harlem in terms of just bars and stuff like that. What can you say, man? I mean, if he would have lived after the big picture, or after Lifestyles, truthfully, who knows what would have happened if he would have signed with Rockefeller and he would have had the production of the Rockefeller team. And, skies could have been the limit for Big L, man. But, bar for bar, not too many better ever. 19 Run of Run DMC. Now, DMC was probably more lyrical than Run, but Run was the guy. Run had the swag, too. So he could rap, and DMC could rap. Maybe DMC was a little bit more, intricate maybe in his rhymes for that early 80s. But Run was the first kind of fly dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go back and listen to early Run DMC, Suck MCs and all of that, and just kind of look at the old pictures of Run DMC after Jam J, rest in peace, kind of gave them the swag with outfits and stuff. Run took it to another level. Run had the chicks. Run was kind of like LL before LL to a degree. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, Run, powerful stage presence, powerful voice, hype. You know what I'm saying? Had the records, had everything. Run, man, is one of the gods of hip-hop. And if you did a Mount Rushmore of hip-hop, you'd have to put Run DMC together on that Mount Rushmore, in my opinion. Man, number 18, 50 Cent. Now, there's been MCs technically better than 50 Cent, but not many did it like 50 Cent. Not many took over the game like 50 Cent. Underrated lyricist, underrated flow, witty on the mic, underrated bars. I think people look at 50 Cent once he got famous, you know what I'm saying, and kind of take for granted the MCing part of his arsenal. Guess Who's Back mixtapes, his whole mixtape run to Power of the Dollar. Listen to his rhymes on Power of a Dollar and his flow. Man, rhymes was dope, man. 50 Cent is actually a great MC. And then, of course, when Get Rich dropped, it was equivalent to me being in high school, college, when Snoop dropped the Doggy Style, Death Row. Same impact. Those probably the two biggest, outside of Eminem, because the numbers, etc. Those are two biggest albums, man, from a debut artist, man, just ever in hip-hop. 50 Cent, phenomenal writing hooks, know how to craft songs. Great MC, man. Number 18, 50 Cent. 17, Jadakiss. He is the king of bars to me. You know what I'm saying? And since this is a New York list, I can't have a top 25 and not have the king of bars. Excuse me, good people. So Jadakiss is Fab and all these bar guys on steroids, basically. One of the best featured MCs. He's one of those guys who essentially has never sounded whack on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's always sounded great rapping. There's never been a time I heard a Jadakiss verse and said, he could have done a little better than that, man. Kind of weak bars or whatever. No, Jadakiss always sounded great. His discography is probably a little underrated. Do I think it could have been better? It's probably production could have took him over the top. If he'd have just locked in maybe once or twice with Alchemist for an entire album, Primo for an entire album, we talking about his position could be even higher. But I think Versus showed, I'm not talking about just the performance, listen to the songs, how many songs the Locks had, how many songs Jadakiss had, and then he showed that again before that when he was on there with Fabulous in their verses. So Kiss, man, number 17. 16, Big Pun. Now, Big Pun is strictly on here because you know what? Big Pun could out-rap almost anyone I've ever heard rap. That's it. When I purchased Capital Punishment, I think in 98, when Beware came on, that was like the second time maybe ever that hair on my hands and arms came up. I had never heard nobody attack the mic like that before. What he could have been, incredible, but what he did for his community and what he did for hip hop, thank God for Fat Joe pushing Pun out there like that, man. Pun flow is only, it really can't be matched by many, maybe early G rap, but Pun was amazing. He never sounded whack on the mic. He pretty much destroyed almost anyone he was on a song with, and the list is long, and you can look that up. 16, man, Big Pun. 15, the final person from the trilogy of God MCs from the 80s, Kool Moe Dee. Now listen what I'm saying to you. Rakim and plenty other guys from his era said Kool Moe Dee was their inspiration. He was like all these guys like favorite MC. It's for a reason. Don't get the Wild Wild West or just some of the LL Cool J battle and some of his, his later work in his career twisted. When the Treacherous 3 was out, Kool Moe Dee was one of the greatest MCs at that time, period. If not the best. Could have been the best at that time. At one point, Kool Moe Dee was the best rapper. You know what I'm saying? Just rapping words. I posted a picture of a video of an old freestyle. It's not that old, but it's a couple of years ago when he did his freestyle for a documentary. Fantastic wordplay. Also, pretty much the person who made Battle MC famous in hip hop when he destroyed Busy Bee at the Harlem World. You guys saw the Beef DVD and all that, but that changed rap. Battling became something that all up to this day, when you think about smack and all this stuff, that all came from Kool Moe Dee and Busy Bee. You know what I'm saying? Go listen to that diss live on stage at the Harlem World. The recordings are on YouTube. This was like 81, 82 or something like that. I mean, craziness. Might have been before that. You can fact check me with the year, but it was the early stages of hip hop, and Moe Dee was an absolute lyrical monster, lyrical deity, as he says in that freestyle. 14. Some people might think this is high, but look, this is my list, man. Top 25 greatest New York MCs. 14 is Prodigy from Mobb Deep. One of the most unique MCs of all time. Literally could say anything and it sounded dope. I throw a TV at you, crazy. Nigga say P, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the rhymes. First of all, his performance on Hell on Earth is stellar. You know, yes, they were young on Juvenile Hell. Yes, The Infamous could be looked at. It's number 9, I believe, on my top 10 albums of all time across the board. And his performance was amazing. You know what I'm saying? But his performance on Hell on Earth is one that during that time, I was like, man, Prodigy one of the best rappers right now. And there's audio of JayZ saying this, 50 Cent saying this, and several of big rappers from the 90s saying there was a point, at least in New York, that Prodigy was right there in the top 5 of rappers in New York at one point. Some people thought he was right there close to the top. There was a time lyrically during 96, and I know some people going to try to push back, when Nas was doing It Was Written, Prodigy was almost on par with Nas in New York, and for me, as far as like lyrics. Now, of course, Nas more detailed in his lyrics and stuff like that, but P was an ill lyricist in a different type of way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, H&IC come out, and then solo run after Mobb Deep. Just a stellar discography when you look at Mobb Deep, and then Prodigy solo, one of the most unique lyricists of all time, one of the dopest voices of all time. Rest in peace to Prodigy. I did an article called Prodigy, the Voice of New York. Because when I think of New York hip-hop, he's one of the people I see that face. You know, so he looks like New York 90s hip-hop. He sounds like New York 90s hip-hop to the T, man. So that's for me. 14, Prodigy. 13, another one we lost. Excuse me. The great Earl Simmons. 13, DMX, man. What can I say? You know, when we lost Big and Pac, you know, I always push back on that shiny suit era because it was really a year. Some people say, oh, but it transitioned into people making certain kind of records for years and years in hip hop. I think some of that's hyperbole. But what he did do in 1998 was bring hardcore rap back to #1 in concerts with the Hard Knock Life tour and then Rough Rider tours and backstage and all of this stuff. DMX controlled the crowd with hardcore hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest, to me, top 5 live performers ever. When JayZ was on that barbershop joint or whatever with LeBron James in the show, he talked about when he saw DMX starting his show, crowd going crazy. He ran up and down that joint by himself, took his shirt off, then the girls love him. At the end of the joint, he prayed, had everybody crying. One of the top 5 live performers of hip-hop history. I've seen him twice, I believe 2 or 3 times. Amazing show. I saw him back in 98, 99, and I saw him again probably about 11 years ago with Nas. You know what I'm saying? And, he's still amazing on stage. Underrated lyricist. You can feel the passion, the pain, the struggle in his voice. One of the most felt MCs ever. Probably the only MC in terms of emotional connection to people that rivals Tupac. That's just how great he was. 12, Ghostface Killer. To me, he is the MC from Wu-Tang. Yes, there are people who can technically rap better than Ghostface and Wu-Tang. You can say JZA is the best lyricist in Wu-Tang. Spit the Deck got the best bars. Method Man got the most swag, dope voice, overall appeal. Raekwon, intricate, detailed lyrics. There are people, ODB, more energy, but nobody had the songwriting ability and discography that Ghostface Killer has. And Ghostface Killer potentially has one of the top 5 or 6 discographies in hip-hop history to me, not just New York. So if you got that, you're going to be in the top 25 greatest MCs from New York. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Ghost is, man. Iron Man, Supreme Clientele, Fish Scale. I mean, all his joints with the Wu-Tang, Bulletproof Wallet. I mean, Ghostface is the one. And he's also one of the few, I feel like right now, just like when that verses when him and Raekwon, when he played that new song from Alchemist, how dope that joint was, he still sounds dope. He's one of the ones, he can make a Supreme Clientele 2, which I hope he's still working on. And it's not going to sound dated. Ghost still sounds great right now in his early 50s. So Ghostface Killah is one of the greatest MCs of all time. Now, this is going to might be a little controversial right here, but at number 11, I have Pharoah Monch. He's here because the same reason why I had Pun at 16. Pharoah Monch is one of the greatest MCs I've ever heard. Flow, lyrics, song concept. Go listen to his album, Desire, and listen to the song called Trilogy. It'll remind you somewhat of Nas' Undying Love. Now, obviously, him and Nas, both Queens, I think they influenced each other because you think about Organized Confusion, Straight Bullet, then you think about I Gave You Power. You think about In Vitro, whatever, on Equinox, and then you think about Fetus that was going to be on IMCD. They ended up being on Lost Tapes. So there's some influence there with Pharoah and Nas. Pharoah Monch got one of the best flows, dynamic flows in hip-hop history. It's just dynamic. He's never sound bad on the mic. I've never heard a whack verse. I've never heard him sound out of pocket. I've never heard him sound anything but fabulous rapping. And I think he's one of the best rappers ever. Wordplay, everything. I really think he's that great. Pharoah Monch, man. Number 10, Busta Rhymes. So, again, a feature monster. Busta Rhymes will destroy you on a feature. I swear he will. You know what I'm saying? With a dope solo discography. He obviously was a standout from at least New School. I think Chuck D gave him his name. Dr. Dre said first time he heard him, he knew he was going to be a star. He's one of the most creative MCs. He's actually, got some of the best bars, tough. Busta, because he's animated, it make you kind of forget how dope as MC he is. It's not just a performance, the animation. He can fucking rap, So that's what that is. Busta Rhymes, man. Number 10. Number 9, Cool G Rap. Coogee Rap is the father to AZ, Nas, Ray and Ghost, Jadakiss Styles, all these, even Scarface that said Coogee Rap is one of his influences. I mean, G-Rap is G-Rap. Nas brought him out the other day on Hip Hop 50 and said he was his inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Man, I still listen to 456. I mean, he's a god MC, man. I don't need to say much, man. Possibly the illest flow in hip-hop history. For me, after School of D, Coogee Rap, after School of D and Ice-T, Coogee Rap took that gangsterism to a whole new level. And when you think about Mafia hip-hop era, and I have a episode about Mafia and hip-hop, how they go hand in hand in the mid-90s, that's G-Rap is the father of all of that. So it is what it is. Number 8, this is about to get controversial again, but this is how I feel. Mos Def. I'm on record more than one time on Twitter saying Mos Def is as good as anybody ever who rap. Anybody. What he displayed on Black on Both Sides was the perfect rap album. I posted that recently on Twitter again. Black on Both Sides is the perfect rap album. If a kid came up to me and said, man, I want to learn about hip hop, at one point I would have said Illmatic. And I'm saying I wouldn't, but I might say Black on Both Sides now. Like, this homework. Take that home. This is how a rap album's supposed to sound. Perfect display of songwriting, lyrics, flow, concepts. What do you want? It's a New York rap, but it's also world rap. You know what I'm saying? Mos Def can do everything on the mic. He's so gifted that I think he got bored with rapping. He's just that good. Down to number 7, Big Daddy Kane. What can I say? You saw the verses with KRS-One. Big Daddy Kane still got it. He sound good, clear, smooth still, can dance still, look good, flow, dread. He has it all, man. Joe Budden talked about that on his podcast one time. He said, just looking at Kane, like, man, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like Joe Budden, like, yes, man, Big Daddy Kane is just got the it factor, man. He is an MC's MC. He'll bar you to death. He can battle. He can make jokes for the girls. What you want? Kane can do that for you. You know what I'm saying? You know, Kane lives down here in North Carolina. I ran to him a couple of times, man. Like he said, cool and humble. And that's how he is, man. He's a dope brother. You know what I'm saying? Just that's what it is. Number 6 is someone who could be number 1. Originated the GOAT. First sex symbol hip hop, first this, first that. What L Cool J, James Todd Smith. And y'all know what I said already. I don't do any James Todd slander. I don't take it on Twitter. You can't say nothing bad about L Cool J to me. Not the dude that did radio. Mama said knock you out. Mr. Smith. Huh? Same dude that could do songs with I Shot You, 4, 3, 2, 1, late in his career. Same dude can battle MCs to the break of dawn. Can battle somebody like Kumo D Legend, can battle Cannabis, can throw jabs at all these other people, but can turn around and do Hey Lover, doing it, lounging. A GOAT. If you said LL Cool J was the GOAT, I'm not even going to argue with you. Right now, I have him as the 6th greatest MC from New York of all time, but he can be anywhere from 1 through 5, 1 through 6, whatever you want to do. I don't need to say much, man. Peace to the God, man. Number 5, also be, see, we get into that thing now, just into these guys now. KRS-One, one of the greatest New York discographies, one of the greatest discographies, period. Blastmaster, Stage. What can you say? Discography, Criminal Minded, All Means Necessary, Edutainment, Sex and Violence, Solo joint, KRS self-titled, Return to Boom Bap. I mean, I got next. Whatever. All the way up. His verses, he still can flow. Still sound good. Still hip-hop. You can rank him anywhere you want to in New York hip-hop, man, and you wouldn't be wrong, man. As long as he's in top 5. You know what I'm saying, to me? You know what I'm saying? Number 4, the king of hip-hop right now probably still is JayZ. I have JayZ at number 4. You can put him anywhere 1 through 5. Now, this last 4th quarter of his career, very quiet. So some people caught up to him, I believe. You know what I'm saying? But we're saying pound for pound, an MC who started off, some would consider kind of not all that great. Couldn't even get a record deal. His style and stuff was kind of off. And I mean, Big Daddy Kane said he loved the way JayZ rapped back in that Show Improve and, you know, and Hawaii and Sofa days or whatever. But most people didn't like that rap. You know what I'm saying? He was still kind of stuck in it. Excuse me, like 1991 Future Niggas, Dawes Effects, even though they dope. I'm just saying he was still rapping like that. And his peers were rapping different. You know what I'm saying? But once he caught his groove on Reach the Top, there's a song called Reach the Top, came out in 94. When JayZ started changing this flow, that in my lifetime remix, his flow changed and it went on into Dead Presidents, and then he skyrocketed on out of here, pretty much after that, saying with Volume 1 and stuff like Volume 2, whatever. But JayZ is one of the greatest MCs of all time. You want to put him anywhere 1 through 5, I can dig that too. You know what I'm saying? He has a discography, he has the skills, the fact that he doesn't write or people the same stories. I know people who've been in the studio with him. They watched him do stuff and he didn't write. You know what I'm saying? So you can make a case for him to be anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Now, if my greatest artist from New York in terms of hip hop, then that's JayZ and LL Cool J probably. You know what I'm saying? If that list was just that. But greatest MCs, I have Jay at number 4, but I ain't mad. Number 3, Biggie Smalls. Again, he died after 2 albums, man. He has a lot of work. I posted it on Twitter before that. It wasn't just those 2 albums. I mean, it's really 3 albums. You think about Ready to Die, this 1 and 2, Life for the Devil, and enough songs that are Born Again. It's kind of like 4 albums, really. Then he wrote Junior Mafia album. That's 5. Then all the legendary features and R&B joints. So, Biggie at one point, 1995, was the greatest rapper at that time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, others might think otherwise. But for me, 1995, you go back and look at what he did in 1995, because Ready to Die came out in like the end of 1994. So 1995, he ruled it. Then he was on all these joints with Total, and Lil Kim, Junior Mafia, all this stuff, man. All these songs, and still riding the wave of Ready to Die. So at one point, he was the best, at least in 95 to me. And then in 1997, he was the greatest MC again at that moment, and he died. You know what I'm saying? I always talk about what Big would have done after Life After Death. Because if he'd have came back with an album better than Ready to Die and Life After Death, no telling where he'd be at right now in terms of the pantheon of hip hop. Some people still think he's the greatest. So I got him at number 3, and he died in 1997. That's show you the greatness of Biggie. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Number 2, somebody been getting their props now. Finally, it took a long time for certain people to give him his props, but we all know this. The golden child Nas at number 2. Now Nas could be number 1. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't be no less than 5. You know what I'm saying? We know his career, but this late run right here with Hit Boy these last 5 years, some people complain about the some of the production on some of the albums. I think that I didn't love the production on Magic 2, for example, but I thought it was good, and it's getting better each time I listen to it, just kind of seeing the experimentation they're doing. But King Disease 3 is an amazing album. 1 and 2 was good. Magic was very good. What Nas has done in this 4th quarter, I just want to call it 4th quarter of his career because he's about to be 50 years old next month, is stellar. You know what I'm saying? Like, the GOAT conversation now, or in overall hip-hop, looks a little different now than what Nas is doing now. If you want to say Nas is the greatest MC of all time, nothing wrong with that. Greatest New York MC, nothing wrong with that either. You know what I'm saying? We know his discography. We know what he's done. I don't have to go any further. Number 1, the Miles Davis of hip-hop. I've written that. I wrote that article years ago. I reposted it yesterday, leading up to me releasing this podcast episode. It's Rakim. I know some people might say, maybe some people pass Rakim. Maybe we can debate these top 5 or 6 people from New York. You know what I'm saying? But Rakim, to me, lyrically, is the perfect MC. Like, I've heard certain rhymes by a few people on this list. I'm like, it's a pretty good song. Lyrics okay. Didn't sound great. A couple of lines. Could have taken them lines out and put another line in there, probably. Even from the great ones on this list. Not Rakim. Like, I've literally never heard a bad Rakim bar. I went back and looked at a lot of his songs and read them out and read them on screen. And it the way he write his rhymes. I mean, I was listening to rhymes from 1987, 88, and I was like, wow. I was listening to rhymes from Don't Sweat the Technique album. I ain't even talking about Paid in Full, Follow the Leader, where he was really hit his stride on Follow the Leader. Like, he's a better rapper on Follow the Leader than he was on Paid in Full. And Let the Rhythm Hit Him, he was still right there on par with Follow the Leader. But it's just what he was doing by the time Don't Sweat the Technique in like 92. I'm like, man, he's still one of the best rappers right now, like 4 or 5 albums in or whatever. And then you take that break, man, you listen to that 18th Letter in 1997. Rakim in 1997 with 18th Letter still sound like 1987 in terms of like how smooth and how dope his flow, his lyrics, man. The Saga Begins with Pete Rock. It's been a long time. Who is God? I mean, dude, even when he did something, Remember That. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, he still got it. He never lost it. You know what I'm saying? On the master, he got a song called "Waiting for the World to End," and produced by Primo. And I was like, man, this ain't fair. He's never sounded anything but amazing on the mic. He played the trumpet, so I believe the saxophone growing up. He look at rap like jazz. He write like a jazz instrument. You know what I'm saying? He described his writing style on this video years ago when KRS-One was in the room and several other people, and even KRS-One was like, wow, that's amazing the way you write. You know what I'm saying? And Rakim is, for me, the MC for New York. When I think about New York, greatest MC, I think about Rakim first. Somebody else might think about someone else. Nothing wrong with that. Rakim is the God MC to me. You know what I'm saying? Nas is my favorite MC. But I enjoy all of these guys on here, man. So those are my top 25 greatest New York MCs, man. And, you know, there are some people omitted. I told you why these people who did make the list made the list. But yes, you have the Jizzle. Could have been on this list. Grand Puba, I'm a huge fan of Grand Puba. And if I had a top 30, top 40, top 50, the people I'm naming right now would be there. Grand Puba is one of my favorite MCs, man. He's an amazing MC. And I've recently heard some music that he did that's not out, and he sounds magnificent, man. OC, one of my favorite MCs. Jewel's got so much run. It still does. I still play it. From 1997. Jewel's is one of the most underrated rap albums I've ever heard. Man, Heavy D had it all, man. Dope flow, lyrics, swag, songwriting ability. You know, he could easily be here, man. Talib Kweli, actually, discography is tough. You know, Kweli, what him and Mos did on Black Star, but then after that, man, what he did with Reflection Eternal, Quality, and all his albums. I mean, Talib is up there, man. ASAP, man, is dope. Styles P could be somewhere up there. Buckshot. I saw Buckshot a few months ago. Ninth did a joint here. I'm here in North Carolina. Clemens, Winston-Salem. You know, of course, Ninth is from here, and everybody know we grew up together. So he did a joint for high school graduation. And Black Moon was there, and Lords and Underground was there. They sound good too. But Buckshot, man, still he's an MC, man. He's an MC's MC. He could easily be there, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I said, Guru is not from here, but of course, if he was from New York, he might have been on the list, man. But yeah, those some of the ones, man, that came to mind. You know what I'm saying? Joey Badass is dope, man. Gyro, who people try to play sometimes, amazing MC, DMC from Run DMC, who, oh my God, man, it's so many, man. But that's where we are, man. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 30 coming up soon, man. God bless, man. Peace. One love.